Hey, Tina. Hey, there's good composition between North Carolina and South Carolina. So who can get the most results?
What is struggling?
Yeah, it is. Good stuff. I mean, they had
They should ask people if they have pacemakers.
Well, that's true. That would be a big problem. They knew who I was.
here's the work that they're doing. How you going to do it?
We're marketing for Waukesha.
Jim Thorne.
Nice to meet you, Jim. Okay. So you're in Milwaukee now, or from further away?
Teaching. I'm more intellectual.
So it's an important person as you are with
I taught elementary. Wherever I taught, there was never much of an intellectual.
Running into you all the time.
County board.
There's going to be a bunch of us outside the library on Saturday.
County board.
And the city of Waukesha really is there's a very large minority population in the city of Waukesha. And the Waukesha Devs have been working very hard to plus that. So,
You know how fast I had such a big lunch? We did.
Hey, how you doing?
even during these cases, it's very good. This is the first ACLU.
Now, have you gone to one of these? I went many years ago with a friend, but it was in a big kind of, more formal sort of setting.
Occasionally, get-togethers, one topic or another. I went to one. Sorry?
Yeah.
I used to swim a lot in one of their many large pools. Midnight intramural hockey.
That sounds great. Probably fun, right?
And I was 45 to 50 from right now. I was supposed to be no checking. I'm not supposed to bang anybody. But some old fell on me and broke my leg. And I had to, after the game, and this was like 1 in the morning, I had to go over to Ramsar Hall and drop off my dissertation.
So you got a done one. My name's Doug. No, but I have to go to the Badger Pit, and they're going to crush Ohio State's their Wisconsin. It could be 30, 40 points easy.
It's so great to just have all of the energy in the room and have everyone be able to gather tonight, especially knowing that there's like something else happening today. Sorry, my colleagues know that I'm a Cubs fan, so thank you. I did, I'm used to it. So my name is Tina Itzen. I'm the Director of Development and Engagement here at the ACLU of Wisconsin, and just so excited to have everyone here, whether you're joining us here in this space in Milwaukee, or if you're joining us online from all across Wisconsin. We are excited to have you here with us to share together our annual meeting, to learn more about what we've been up to over the past year, to celebrate victories, to commiserate on some of those losses, and to learn about how we as a collective can join together to move forward democracy, civil rights, and civil liberties, especially here in the state of Wisconsin. We're just really excited to share with you the work that we've been up to, as well as all of the ways that you can get involved. So thank you so much for being here. I want to thank Dandy for hosting us here tonight and providing excellent hospitality. We're very grateful for you all as well. So as we start off, we wanted to just share with you, instead of having a bunch of us get up and talk at you, we thought it would be great to just share a video of kind of a year in review, a little taste of some of the things, some big highlights from the past year, just sort of encapsulating the work that we've done and some of the ways that we do our work. Huge shout out to Jonathan Klett for putting this together for us very quickly, which is always great to work with filmmakers and artists who are great at their craft and can support this work in that way as well. So I'm going to do a little switcheroo on the technology here, and then we will share together this year in review.
A number of us have not necessarily lived through the challenges that we're living through right now. The erosion of our rights, the expectation that rights will be attacked that haven't been in at least 2 generations. This is the most difficult work that 3 generations of people have done.
The ACLU of Wisconsin is meeting this moment as a team, as a united front. We have a vision statement and a mission statement that we wrote together, understanding what's important to every person on this team.
And so it takes every single part of the team to make the thing go. We're going to meet challenges in the courts of people not knowing their rights and education, and also we'll meet whatever challenges there are in the streets.
Everybody has a role to play, whether it's the cases that we take or the bills that we fight for or the resources that we're making. It's all done in community.
Watching the team wind up towards challenges. I have an example of this as the Pregnant in Prisons campaign.
No, I'm not with Bentley, and it's heartbreaking. She got us in touch with the ACLU.
The Wisconsin prison system tears newborns from the arms of their mothers despite a law that's meant to keep them together. So we're taking it to court.
I happened to be in Madison, and we found out that there was going to be a ruling by the judge that day.
A Dane County judge says the state must launch a program for currently incarcerated moms.
Hello, Wisconsin. We won.
I got to hear us win, and that some deep needs of community things be met. There's hours and hours of research and brainstorming and various parts of the team supporting the legal team and figuring out how to achieve this outcome.
I love being a mom.
And that was just a microcosm of all this hard work across the team getting there. And that win was going to have impacts for legislative work about what was possible going forward. We have these moments that we can build upon where we operate in a way that brings people towards us with trust. You plan for a future where you and your teammates across multiple organizations and communities are crafting good legislation that Wisconsinites want and enhances their quality of life. And then you deal with the present moment. What's the gap between this future that you want and the moment that we're in? And so, yes, an awful lot of it is defense.
I appreciate the opportunity to testify in opposition to the direct or indirect use of facial recognition technology by the Milwaukee Police Department. While local law enforcement agencies, including MPD, may have good intentions, history reminds us how quickly larger systems can override those intentions.
There was a day when there were multiple anti-trans bills that were all scheduled at the same time. A number of people on the staff and the board divvied up the work so that people were in each room all the time. And in one of those rooms, there was a man who had been asked to come and provide testimony that said it was perfectly fine to discriminate against trans people. He spent an entire day in a room filled with community members who were willing to educate him, not condescend to him, to build community and relationships with him, and he went up to the front to testify. He said,
"My eyes were open. I was one of the critics that sat on the side and made the decisions there was only 2 genders. So I got an education that was unbelievable. And my perspective for people had changed."
And so if you want to know what the power of community education and building relationships is, and testifying in front of the legislature, and fighting for rights that are based in our shared humanity, that story encapsulates it.
We say our work is in the courts, in the legislature, in the streets. And, you know, in the streets sounds like a big deal, like you're gonna protest and whatnot, and that is a piece of it.
Protest groups have a right to assemble and march within sight and sound of the RNC. We're going into court to enforce that right.
It's a beautiful thing about our country and our democracy.
The legal team cannot do their work alone, nor if the rest of the team doesn't engage with community members, whether that's through organizing or engagement, getting people to come towards us and feel warmly welcome and knowing that they have a role to play. An example of this is election protection. Having 150 volunteers who were ready to go out into communities to make sure that the election was happening in a fair and free way.
We have an organizing team that is really building power across the state, educating people on how the legislature works, how you can contact your legislatures about a particular bill or issue, and how you can show up and testify and learn how to do that. The best tactic is community, and when you look back at all of the big revolutions, it's people standing up and saying, no, this is not right, that makes a difference.
There is always hope for the future that you want. And I would tell anybody who has any reticence and says, well, I'm not that person, I don't call myself an activist. I would say you are free to do it scared. And you do not have to have a steady voice when you get to the mic, but you do have a moral obligation to protect not just yourself or everyone you love, but people that you will never meet who are different than you.
All of us need all of us to make it.
And you may not be someone who can maybe do this work full time, but you're someone who can do something. The power of people will eventually turn the tide. You're welcome to join the ACLU.
And so the invitation is, be part of some of that work, any of that work.
Great to see some of the faces on the video who are in this room that are not staff too. So I know I recognize a couple of folks. So yeah, thank you for being a part of this year with us. I now want to just introduce to you, if you are not familiar, Dr. Melinda Brennan, who is our executive director, who will be giving us kind of the keynote for tonight. Melinda serves as the executive director of the ACLU of Wisconsin, as the first woman of color to lead the ACLU of Wisconsin in its 95-year history. We're getting closer to 100. Melinda guides the affiliate in an overall vision for the organization with a people-first, community-forward focus. She has a proven track record of strategic vision, community building and strengthening, anticipating and acting on critical situations, successfully translating vision into action, and deep experience in anti-racist and anti-oppressive work. In her words, many of the issues I am devoted to reveal the way difference is weaponized, made the problem, rather than honoring difference, being accountable to justice, and supporting communities held at the margins. My commitment to this work is informed by scholarship and action, much of which was done by women of color, queer people of color, and other multiple marginalized leaders who speak truth to power. Before joining the ACLU of Wisconsin, Dr. Brennan served as a diversity, equity, and inclusion trainer for communities and leadership, was an educator and a community organizer. Born and raised right here in Wisconsin, Melinda earned her bachelor's degree in women's studies and her master's degree in sociology from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. She went on to earn her doctorate in gender studies at Indiana University, where she wrote a dissertation on the nexus between hate acts, white nationalism, white supremacy, and American Islamophobia. I will add that she is a fearless champion for those on the margins, a servant leader at heart, an example of grace under pressure, and someone I call a friend. Welcome, Dr. Brennan.
Hi, folks. So I had planned this thoughtful exercise on talking to you about what's in your books, and you can read it later. What my letter says is a call to action for all of us, that there's room for all of us in this movement. But I recognize that in this moment, the problem is that we're not humanizing each other. So I'd rather give you something of myself instead. because there are a lot of brave words that I can give you, but I think the problem right now is largely that we don't see each other's humanity often enough. And sometimes we'll hurt each other badly. And sometimes we'll fail each other miserably. And sometimes we'll want more from each other than we can ever possibly give, because the need is so deep. Or in moments, hurt people. But I don't believe that there's anybody in this room who doesn't want better for everyone else, especially across differences. And so, honestly, I'd rather be an educator and give you some of myself. Because if I can show strength and vulnerability, so can everybody else here. So let me give you words that are not mine, and then a little bit of me in between them. It was a beautiful introduction that Tina gave me, but I need to provide you with some of the words that continue to teach me who to be in the very worst moments. These are the words that I come back to when I don't know what to tell my team, because I can't imagine human beings treating other human beings like this. But I can, I don't have to imagine it is happening. So I'm going to give you 3 sets of quotes as I tell you a little bit about my family, so that I am not some figure you don't know, but a human being that you met tonight. And the first set is wisdom that cautions us against fear making us small, because you have to let fear make you small. You have to decide to let it make you small and diminish you. Audre Lorde says, "My silences have not protected me. Your silence will not protect you." That is true always. It has never not been true. It feels more true now. She also says, revolution is not a one-time event. And there are some people in this room who themselves and their loved ones have been doing this work for decades. And some of us are newer to this work. And we should be heartened and strengthened that there were people that have done this work before. And it may feel different now. And it may feel that more of it is happening now. But most of it is actually not new, and that's what should make us really angry. Because there were so many games before, but it doesn't mean give up. It means figure out what still works and might work again. But that we have to continue to protect whatever gains we make. And above all, protect our own humanity. And last in this section, and before I start to humanize myself, Gloria Anzaldúa says, all reaction is limited by and dependent on what we are reacting against. And I just ask you to stop reacting. I would much rather you think about what you need to do to take care of yourselves and everyone you love, and every person that you imagine as being negatively impacted by any of the actions, any hour of one of the days that we're all collectively experiencing. But to react is to not be in control, or to make a plan, or to hold hands with somebody else and experience it together. It is to be isolated and feel that you must do something, that you're compelled to do it, but without a plan and alone, and that's not going to help us win. So I'd like you to stop reacting. And when something terrible happens, I'd like you to go and find somebody else and make a plan. Because we are strengthened when we do it together. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. And it's really a family story. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be the executive director of the ACLU of Wisconsin. I'm not. There was no pathway by which I was supposed to get this job. My family, I'm Mexican American. My family I'm either 2nd generation or 6th generation, depending on how you count it. My grandmother had maybe a 5th grade education, maybe a 4th grade education, we're not really sure because we don't have any records. She worked in factories her whole life, and unfortunately for many of those years she was shut out of unions because they were largely inhabited by white men, and folks of color, let alone women of color, were not necessarily welcome within them. That changed over time. My mother was one of them. My aunt was an artist. My mother was, I think my grandma would have called her a scholar. My grandma was a very savvy person. That priest had a relationship with the Daughters of the American Revolution. And through that relationship, that community relationship of people taking care of each other and lifting school in Milwaukee. And she completed that education, and she decided she was going on to technical college and her, and sexist things happened to her, and she dropped out. She only took a couple of classes. She never finished any of them. You are going to make sure that you craft a legacy where our history can never repeat. So then I went and I got a master's degree. And I got these things in fields that and quite frankly, how to humanize people better all the time. If my grandma hadn't thought do whatever it would take to change her family's trajectory. Daughter of a community organizer. Family. I'm not supposed to be here. That they are now. No. Incredible wisdom. My words, but words that continue to guide me. It's voices from the revolution, hope, and battling for freedom, and things that reminds us of. Though we tremble before uncertain futures, may we meet illness, death, adversity with strength. May we dance in the face of our fears. That too is Gloria Anzaldúa. I don't for one second want you to think I'm not afraid. I am. I just do it anyway. That quote in the video was me candidly talking, and it's something I've said an awful lot. No one is asking you to be brave if brave means that you are unafraid. We are, however, asking you to contribute in whatever way you can, and assume that it'll be meaningful, and then you have something to give. And last, things that we dare not forget in the weight of our history, or the duty to each other, or the importance of our work. I know that I am, quite literally, my ancestors' wildest dreams. I assume many of you in this room are as well. I assume many people that call themselves activists are as well. I assume that there is a groundswell of people that came from people who just wouldn't accept things as they are and made changes big and small in their community, in their relationships, in their family, at their work, everywhere, until it was a more tolerable place, until there was more momentum to do more. And now this moment is asking everything of us. But I do think we can dance in the face of our fears and fulfill our ancestors' wildest dreams. And I will leave you with this thought, which is from perhaps the author that speaks most deep to me in my worst moments, which is Audre Lorde. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I'm afraid. And so I ask you, just for a moment tonight, in community and for no other reason, just so you feel it in your chest for a second, will you take a moment and just breathe in very deeply, and I will back up from this mic and do it with you. And I want you to shout with your whole chest the word resist. And then later, when things are difficult, I need you to remember that you were either in a room or watching a moment when a group of people decided with their whole chest to do just that. And it will carry you. Will you do it with me?
Sure.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't ever forget your thunder.
Thank you so much, Melinda. I'm going to invite up Ari and Maria, who are our two wonderful organizers. And the three of us are going to share some of the ways that you all can participate in the coming year, ways that you can resist with us. So we're going to share just some opportunities for you all to get involved. So come on up. Woo!
Hello, so the first event, you guys hear me all right with this mic?
No.
That's what I don't I'm a little short. But first thing that we're going to be introducing tonight is our Civil Rights Alliance. So that's pretty much our collective of volunteers. It consists of in-person trainings, education, and community building. And that is free to join pretty much whenever.
And yeah, so if you're, can't do things in person or kind of doing more of that activisty thing feels a little bit like too much. I know I testified for the first time, I think like a year ago, and was like, this was fun, but I don't know if I want to do this all the time. We are launching, just starting now, we'll have signups, we'll be able to go out next week for a new, what we're calling our Community Activator Network. So these are for folks who all across the state who want to kind of share the things that are all ACLU, things like know your rights, things about how to vote, all of that great education that we get out to you all. And you want to share that with your networks, your friends, your family, the people that you know, and kind of be an activator in your local community. This is a program for you, just a way to be connected to our work and sort of be the person that, which y'all already are, the people that people come to say, hey, what's this bill about? Or hey, how does this voting thing work? Or all of those kinds of things. So we're going to be resourcing you to be able to share those resources with your own networks.
And then, continuing with programming that kind of meets you where you are, no matter where you are in our state, is we have our Know Your Rights webinar series that's going to be launching in November. Like I said, people from all over Wisconsin and really all over the nation can sign up to learn their rights in a variety of circumstances, like voting rights. I forgot all the other rights, but we have a lot of rights. And you can take our webinar series to learn about all of them.
There's lots of rights. And there's more things coming too. And part of it from our amazing legal team who are always updating the resources based on what's changing, and we know that lots of things change. So we'll be, launching new trainings based on some of those changes so that everybody has what they need. And one exciting thing that's going to be coming soon, probably after the first of the year, we're going to be launching a new legal society. This is an opportunity for all of our legal professional types to be able to connect together, to learn more, to volunteer, whether it's things like election protection or pro bono work, and also support the ACLU, whether it's a law firm sponsoring an event or doing something like that, just ways to connect the legal community that has been such the heartbeat of the ACLU for many, many years together and with this work. So stay tuned for that. More information will be coming after the first of the year.
My turn. So, if any of this information feels in any way overwhelming or a plethora of options to choose from, consider me and Ari one of your extended resources. So at any time, if you have any question or just want to sit down virtually or in person to have a coffee, talk about what's confusing you, how do I get involved, what do you guys have coming down the pipeline, anything else, use that QR code on the screen here to sign up for our volunteer form, and then that'll direct you straightly to us. And we're your point of contact for truly any questions. No such thing as a dumb one. So.
Yes, let us buy you coffee. And I would be remiss to not mention other ways that you can support us, obviously financially, that we know that there's so much resources being poured into those who want to take away rights, and we also need to, in a lot of ways, put our money where our mouth is. So there are opportunities. I would recommend become a member of the ACLU. You will get all the information you need. You'll be connected to what is happening on the front lines. It's a great way to show your support. I do still know people who carry their ACLU membership card in their wallets and will show it. So the whole card carrying member of the ACLU is still a thing. But that is an opportunity, as well as just supporting us through a tax-deductible donation. That is something you can do too. If you are feeling generous tonight, there are QR codes on your tables that you can do that. And we're launching a new business partnership program. So if you have a business or know someone who does who would want to connect with us, we've got some really unique and fun ways to support the work of businesses that support our work. So feel free to, if you have questions about any of the financial stuff, you can always talk to me or Zach, who's running the live chat for our online folks as well. But we are so grateful for the donors and the many folks and the members who support this work and make this work possible and allow us to support Wisconsinites across the state. So thank you so much for that.
And in the continuation of supporting that work, taking action starts right now. So an opportunity for folks that want to get involved, want to have their voice heard. No Kings Rally are happening all across Wisconsin and the nation this Saturday, October 18th. So for the folks here in Milwaukee, it will be at Cathedral Square from 10 a.m. to 2. And for the folks virtually, I highly, highly recommend, and folks in person, look up the nokings.org, not only to find people that you can coordinate with, to have those safety groups, to get those connections of what those routes look like, but also finding those connections closer to where you are if you're not in the city.
Awesome. Thank you so much, the organizers. We hope to see you out there this Saturday. Feel free to stop by our table if you're in Milwaukee. Grab a Know Your Rights for protesting. If you're not able to stop by but you're planning to go to our website, check out those rights before you show up on Saturday so that you can have all the protections you have while you're out exercising your First Amendment rights. And join us for any of these opportunities and more. And we're just excited to share. So at this point, I am going to invite William Sultan, who's our board president. For a moment of, I think, celebration in some ways of folks that we have lost before us.
Good evening, folks.
Hello.
Good evening. I have a tough job this evening. Boy. So I've got a few notes here that I'll read here. I don't know if you want to. There. So I'll be talking about Judge Kessler and Attorney Hall. I'll start with Judge Kessler. He passed away on November 12th of 2024, which is actually my birthday. He was, his wife, Joan Kessler, also a judge, survived by him. Both of them were heavily involved in the ACLU of Wisconsin and in civil rights and liberties throughout the state. What I can tell you about Judge Kessler specifically is that he believed in broad spectrum, right? It wasn't just the law, it wasn't just lawyering, it wasn't just work done in the legislature. You had to do it all. And I would say that the best thing about Judge Kessler is that he inspired a whole cadre of young attorneys to do a whole lot of things. Just a great human being, and an incredible loss to the community, but he also brought so much to the community, and you're still seeing that work today. From attorneys, from young people who are staffers in Madison. I guess the one thing I think I really should say about Judge Kessler is thank you. Thank you for everything that you did for me and for the community, just across the board. I mean, he gave everything. And I think what he would say is continue to do that. So thank you, Judge Kessler. And now we come to James Hall. And to be frank, folks, I didn't even think I could do this, to be honest. James Hall, of course, was a major attorney in Milwaukee. James is also responsible for me deciding, he nominated me for the ACLU board. And at that time, we had actually a competitive process for elections, and James was actually on the ballot too, and I beat him out. So I came on, and then he didn't. When I got into ACLU leadership, one of the first things I did was I brought James into the finance committee. I said, you need to come back. But when I was talking with James's wife today, one of the things we talked about was, and people don't know this about James, but we have this thing in the finance committee that nobody knows about. It's called the Sonnendecker Fund or the Bill of Rights Trust. Nobody knows what it is, right? But James Hall was on the national committee that created this for the entire country, right? This is a huge investment that allowed the growth of ACLU affiliates across the country. And James Hall was a part of the group that built that. Of course, he was also a major attorney, right? We know about the redlining cases. We know about all the hard work that he did, president of the NAACP. And I just remember James calling me at night saying, well, you gotta do something about this. So, and then he would hang up, and then somebody would call me and say, hey, James Hall said you do something about it. So, and that was James. He was just a friend, a mentor, somebody who would encourage you on cases that are hard. And it's difficult to explain just how difficult it is to do civil rights and constitutional rights litigation, how lonely it can be. And to hear somebody say, hey, keep it up, you're doing great work. It's like, you're the only one who said that to me this year. and I'm still getting that from James, because one of the things James did, and I didn't know that James was sick at the time, but one of the things that happens for attorneys is that you actually have an obligation to designate where your case is going when you pass away. What happens, right? And when I found out that James passed, of course I was crestfallen. But then I started getting calls, and they said, hey, James Hall designated you as the person to take over this part of his practice, right? And I gotta tell you, it was a lot. But the one thing I thought about immediately was, I'm gonna kill every one of these cases, because that's what James did. But what he gave to the ACLU, what he gave to the community is just great. We will miss him, and I'm glad his wife is here today. And as you would expect, the first thing she said to me is, yeah, let me know if you need anything, because I'll be there. So thank you, James Hall, thank you, Judge Kessler, for everything that you've given to me personally and this community. Thank you. Now, you all knew this was coming too, right? I just want to reiterate what Tina said earlier. It really is important that we have a broad tent. So please join the ACLU. One of the things you should know is that we have more members with the Wisconsin affiliate today than we've ever had in our state's history. And I told the staff a couple of months ago when I learned about this that I was going to take all the credit because I'm the board president. But not only do we have the most members, we also have the highest growth we've ever had. And that's telling us that we're traveling down the right path and we should continue to do what we're doing. And it really is true that our opponents are well funded, and we need to be well funded as well. So please take today and the next couple of months, your end of year giving, to think about the ACLU. I will do the same. And it's very, very important that we beat back some of the losses we've taken. That's the only way to put it. And we have to do that not only with money and finances, of course, but also by devoting our time and talent. So I'm asking you to do both. Please donate money, please donate your time and your talent. And, sure. I always do the adjournments. So I just want to thank you all for coming here tonight. It's really great to see everybody. I hope you stick around and have conversations with me and the staff. Just remember that I'm the board president, so I get all the credit. Thank you very much.
Nothing else to say. I could announce the game score, but I won't, so I'll let someone else do it.